We are going to wrap this up with our gallery walk that we've been talking about all morning. This is the opportunity for the presenters or the people in the session that said they would take this on to come back to us and share up to 1 minute the results that came out of your session. So you don't have to do it exactly as a SOAR if you don't want to. So you can talk about your next steps or the results that you got at that final part of SOAR, or anything that's tangibly takeawayable. And we're going to just start kind of going through the day as we did in order here. Gemma and Peter, are you there? How
Hi,
about
Gemma and Peter are not here. I'm sharing on their behalf, and I can report out now.
Thank you, Michelle.
Sure. I had the honor of supporting them as they shared their analogy between vitamin C and collaboration. Both are very healthy and benefit all of us. So the major takeaway, they talked about how they have found benefits through collaboration across ASU from their different parts of the organization. And basically, it's healthy, keeps you energized, supports success now and in the long run. And it's important to include a wide variety of perspectives for collaboration and to receive the maximum benefits.
Thank you so much. Are you going to be able to send me those results that you just shared out? That'd be great, Michelle. Thank you. How about Brandy, Kristen, and Stephen on the Data Analytics Success Hub?
Hey, Christine, I'm here. I'm not sure if we had a wonderful session talking about the Data and Analytics Success Hub. And one of the key takeaways I wanted to share was really kind of zeroed in on our aspirations. And this kind of really speaks to my heart. And that was making university data manageable, logical, intuitive, consistent, and eliminating redundancy. And that really captured the spirit of what we are hoping to accomplish with Dash. And I think is also our greatest area of opportunity to continue to grow and continue to build on that passion and bring that forward as we continue to relentlessly improve that service.
Thanks, Brandy. And it sounds like you do have a project or an initiative. Do you want to give just a little soundbite on that?
So Dash is the service by which we are working to bring varying data sets together and make them available where users are at. So if you are somebody who just needs, I just need a number, creating that stock report that you can just go in and see the number. If you need a data set that you can pivot or pull into Excel or blend with other data sets, making that same data source available in those different modalities, and making sure that it's documented and very clean from those subject matter experts, and capturing their expertise. So you know what it is that you're actually using and leveraging, and you understand the calculations and the nuances that are going into it.
What a great service to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindfulness and ambition. Terry and Nika, are you there?
I'm here. I'm not sure if Nika is or not. I really appreciate the this format and the sort of the methodology of SOAR. It seems like really possibility focused. I'm not sure that we didn't get really to recommendations. So I'm really interested to hear from, when we look back on the archives of the session, the commentary, what emerges there. Nika?
Yes, we had some great comments from the audience, but we kind of ran a little over time. So as Terry said, we don't have a lot of recommendations that we can share with you right now.
Well, I really do love the suggestion, Terry, that you look at the archives and give us something back. And it is possibility focused. I also know that I came into your session for a little bit. And the way you were framing mindfulness, I think, was a big awakening for a lot of people. So thank you. And Doug and Jesse, how about DevSecOps?
This is Marissa. I'll be representing, I guess, the three of us. We had a pretty exciting session for, surprisingly, DevSecOps. This is an area that was very new for me. So that's what I think was so great about it, is that we were able to glean so much from our participants. So What was really cool is the transition from DevOps to DevSecOps, and then the future plans for DevSecNetOps, and the ideas that people shared. While some were things that Jesse and Doug had thought of, maybe we were able to see some dynamics in how maybe they hadn't thought about it in this light, or you hadn't considered it in this way. And I think one of the biggest findings was when you surround yourself with people that are outside of your normal interactions is where you really have an opportunity to grow and glean concepts from other people and other ideas. And then you also have to be open to it. So I think that was a really neat session to not know much about it, but then gain so much insight from the experience.
Wow, Marissa. So what I heard as you were talking is DevSecOps really encourages diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging.
That session sure did.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to move on to the topics in session 2, round 2.
Christine, this is Delia. I actually was on, but I couldn't unmute fast enough. So can I go ahead and report?
Oh, please do. Yeah.
So our session was on SOA, the Buddhist concept of opening one's heart. And I was just so moved by the contributions of the group and by their engagement. And in the SOAR analysis, there were just so many things, and I'll hit upon a few. First of all, the recognition and opportunities that we can use this in our professional networking and making connections, but also in lifting each other up and creating more of an environment of trust. In terms of aspiration, having consistency and excellence, affirming and validating one another, those are all things that can happen quite readily. Demonstrating patience and trying to understand where people are coming from. So also tying into the diversity, equity, inclusion theme of earlier. And remarkably, quite a bit of entries for the results, relating it not just to a true sense of community and self, but also to an increase in participation, to having greater and happier colleagues and customers, and just having repeatable success. So it was lovely to see people understanding the concept, already practicing it, and recognizing the value in extending it in a broader way. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And I think I'm just going to build on your comment about trust, because it is something we talk about a lot in the culture work we certainly do. And ask Kate Giovacchini if she can go next, describe your session, or the person that was helping you.
Yes, thank you, Christine. We had a wonderful session. I truly appreciate everybody that attended and for participating so much and interactively. We ended up with just a tremendous amount of content. And I will focus on the aspirations that came out of our conversation. The diversity of response was fantastic. And I will highlight that we uncovered aspirations to improve the work environment and culture around the institution to create more trust in between colleagues. We hit on some very specific technical comments around increasing security tools, about focusing on access and identity management to ensure that technical trust. Had a lot of comments about educating our constituencies on what digital trust is, how to learn more about it, and how to understand it. We talked about an aspiration to develop a very clear vision of digital trust at ASU. And then finally, but very powerfully, an aspiration to create visibility and empowerment for all through the sharing of intelligence, through the provision of transparency into processes and data, and through choice, through allowing constituents to exercise some choice around their data and sort of express their trust relationship with us. So again, thank you, everybody.
And thanks for all those actionable ideas, because we're certainly at a time when the topic of trust is so up in our consciousness. Thanks, Kate. How about Eddie? Can you boom boom us? Is that what it was called?
It's called BombBomb.
BombBomb.
Yes, which is a video messaging platform which allows you to humanize and personalize your message. And so, as you know, I'm very enthusiastic about the platform, and there was a lot of positive feedback. And I went over all the different use cases and how we use BombBomb, and some of the feedback that we've gotten from our admitted students and email responses that we've gotten. And I show the different uses and use cases and how we use it. And everybody was very receptive to it. And so they did the SOAR analysis, and it has, every box has items in it, which is great. And so some of the things, strengths, it's very personable, engaging, excellent, personal connection upon starting a new position or department, quick and easy, personal touch, builds relationships, adds personal touch, easy to use, adaptable, opportunities. And I listed a bunch of my own opportunities on my presentation, but using this as a first step for college access programs, advisors, great way to introduce yourself to a new team, advisors to connect with any students. You know, somebody reached out to me over Zoom and said, wouldn't this be great for new hires? You know, you're new to a department, you're new to a team, you introduce yourself. Hey, we'll see you on Monday. Congratulations on starting with us. It's all sorts of opportunities. And so I think the light bulbs were going off as we were going through the presentation. So aspirations, university-wide connectivity. Somebody mentioned accessibility features, shows authenticity, helping easy. And one of the things I did show is from an IT perspective, where you could do screen recording, reach out to your consumers, provide the solution. You have a little snapshot of your face, and you can show your screen and how to resolve certain issues and to add that personal touch to your customers. And so the results, end user experience measurements, more student engagement, retention, great customer experience, increased enrollment. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity that around the SOAR analysis, as well as opportunities for the university.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a really great way to prove that you're not a robot.
This is true. This is true. It's not about being perfect. It's about being genuine and authentic.
Yeah. Thanks, Eddie.
Sure.
Carrie and Abby, are you ready to talk about Empowered to Stay?
Sure. I'll be speaking for our group. Carrie, my co-conspirator, I think is in another meeting at present. So I'll share in the chat a link to our PowerPoint presentation. If anyone wants to look at that. I know we also got cut short, so there are some things still left open if anyone has any lingering thoughts that they'd like to add. But our session was on Empowered to Stay, which is about stay interviews. So instead of conducting an exit interview, could we ask people why they choose or choose not to stay? So here are some of the themes that we are walking away with. In terms of strengths, the group saw strengths as that it's scalable, that it's a set of tools to prepare people, that the tools can vacillate based on experience, and that we can use tools such as Edge, which are already in use. For opportunities, there are opportunities for expansion, toolkits, the normalization of human-centered conversations, and encouragement and resources for supervisors. Some aspirations that came away from the group are empathy, validation, training for supervisors, increasing trust, connection, and dedicated staff specific for stay interviews. And some results that we are walking away with are, or that we're looking forward to, are improved work environment, people staying, because it's a stay interview, space for community, staff skill, task alignment, and opportunities for reciprocal feedback. So thank you to the group who participated. And like I said, feel free to put any other thoughts that you have in the link that I shared.
Thanks, Abby. And for those of you that have not participated, this idea for the stay interviews have come out of the breakfast brainstorm conversations. And this little powerhouse group of people just self-organized and got going on it. And you've really got some traction. Thank you so much. All right, Eric, how about you? Are you ready for Build a Better Key Data Dashboard?
I am going to cover Eric's Build a Better Key Data Dashboard. So we had a really great conversation. Eric did a short overview of what the Key Data Dashboard is. And so for those who are not familiar, it gives a variety of different metrics, such as volumes of experience center calls, some information about network outages. And right now it's just a lot of volume statistics. And so the conversation was really about how can we make those dashboards and those metrics something that's more actionable and that's more usable. So there were a lot of great ideas about different types of network metrics that could be useful to the community up there, particularly as students come back, so that folks know where are there outages, how many devices are coming online, ways to be able to have more visibility to the broader community who supports our students, to be able to see where a problem might occur and be able to get in there and make that actionable before something does go down and before something does occur. So really focused on our students. And then we also had a couple really, really good, really innovative aspirations that came out of that conversation. So people wanting to look at their own data. So how are they using technologies? How are like my personal Zoom volume or my personal number of Servicenow tickets that I've submitted or number of incidents that I've closed and resolved. So wanting that aspiration of that sort of personal view of data. And then we also had some interesting ideas about employee happiness KPIs and other sort of HR related metrics that could be included as well around diversity and around inclusion.
I am going to talk to you later about the employee happiness KPIs. I love that. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. And Kyle and Allison, are you ready to talk about your Agile experiences?
Absolutely. So in our Exploring Agile Experiences session, Kyle, Marissa, and I had a fantastic group that was collaborating with us on how we can solve some of those impossible challenges that President Crow talked about this morning that we do all the time here at ASU. And so using that Agile framework, some of the strengths that we identified were our ability to quickly adapt and, collaborate across the institution to be more proactive and motivational and have empathy for all of our communities that we serve. It gives us the opportunity to reach out to communities that might not be represented and increase that coordination across the units to be able to understand what they need, and gives us the opportunity to make stronger services that better serve our customers. Our aspirations are to scale this model to help for specific use cases, such as rural learners, protecting of sensitive data, how we can increase access to quality higher ed learning experiences, and be able to adapt quickly to all these changes that are happening in the world and spread this culture beyond UTO. And as a result, we'll be able to share needs and resources across all units in the institution in order to be able to detect and recover from failure and roadblocks proactively, and ultimately increase student retention and success and employee satisfaction.
Right back to the charter. Thank you. Do you have any additions, Kyle?
I couldn't possibly improve upon that synopsis.
Thank you. Oh, goodness. So now we're going to move to the quick reports from round 3, folks. Charmaine, do you have something about Activate Future Making Practices for a Culture of Collaboration?
I do. Thank you. I'm going to put this into Slack there. And that's my extended EP version of the slides. So yeah, so we had a great session. We used some mural and had some nice discussion. I proposed a university-wide collaboration or a guild to activate ASU design aspirations through design thinking. And us at the Learning Futures Collaboratory, we invite you to the physical space that we made for, future making in this way. And so the idea was that this design guild would be fueled by participants' problems of practice or even their work-related projects, so that we come together, plan together, make together, and then analyze together. So it's very experiential. And so thoughts and recommendations, just in general, is that people liked the idea. I showed the IBM Enterprise Design Thinking Toolkit, and it's a way, it's an educational kind of toolkit that anybody can use right away. Of course, it doesn't address the needs of education. So some people thought this kind of thing might help us think more enterprise level if we used the Guild to create a toolkit, and moving knowledge resources out of silos to take on complex global challenges was one of the topics as well. Measuring success of a project early for greater impact. So the ideas are that you think about what is it that you're trying to measure early on to see, to make sure that you're staying on track. Maybe you readjust and you ask a different question later, but to stay on track. We talked about it being really an intentional inclusivity and diverse practice, and even thinking about when you invite people that are maybe thinking about from different areas of the university, it's their time and effort. Maybe there's a different way to compensate them because they're there giving you their time and effort. And just how to activate existing relationships and projects and priorities to create collaborative practices of design and to level us up on the design maturity, because we have design aspirations. So thinking about where do we fall on the design maturity scale and vision. So please do join me in the Slack channel again. It's the Design Thinking Guild. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the name of this. Who knows? We'll think of it together, but it would be really great to work with all of you.
It's pretty cool that you've got all those actionable ideas and a community already started to take those forward. Thanks, Charmaine.
Thank you.
Dr. Linda Elkins-Tanton, would you like to talk about No One Sits By Silently?
Yeah, Lindy here. Charmaine, I think that's really cool, by the way. And one of the things I presented on in my session was a process for creating egalitarian interdisciplinary teams we've been practicing for 4 years, and it might be a really cool thing to talk about together. And so we have 20 pilot projects with metrics within using this particular process. So because we're talking about how to put together interdisciplinary teams and also what team culture does for success, for outcomes, not just for making us happier, but for the specific outcomes, we asked everybody to do their own SOAR analyses individually, and then we asked them to share out their aspirations and results part. And so what I've done here is, Michelle and I did this together. We tried to choose representative aspirations and results in pairs that more or less represented large portions of what we heard back. So an aspiration is pervasive trust among team members. A result of that might be team members share authentically about concerns and possible solutions. And then the next aspiration is for increased inclusion. And a possible result of that is no voices are overpowering others, and each team member feels part of the team and wants to stay. This is a really critical part of building teams. And the thing I talked about was this concept that I've been working on of avoiding the hero model. Can we not have just the one person own the concept, own the ideas, own the pyramid of resources and people? Can we instead constellate people around questions and then move them as fast as possible to our results? And so that's a situation where every interdisciplinary team member knows why they're there and is therefore valued for their contribution. And then finally, under aspirations, recognize problems and be accepted when I communicate them. That is a big aspiration for a lot of us. And the result of doing that successfully would be possibly that communication is rewarded as a deliverable. So I thought those are some really nice pairs, and they do represent a lot of what people shared. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You kind of demoed how you can take the SOAR analysis and build from each section towards the final results. Thank you so much. Chris, automating business processes in the Servicenow platform.
Yeah, so the theme of our session was really around collaboration, fostering collaboration between teams to improve the way that we do day-to-day work. There was several conversations around efficiencies and using the platform. And I told a few stories of the Servicenow and service management engineering team working with business and finance, and Melissa Bakutis and messaging collaboration to overcome some of the challenges that they had over the last year and the last couple of years, NGN project management and things like that. So the group shared a lot of awesome ideas, lots of opportunities to improve automation and service delivery and have a customer experience focus around doing those things. So yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Very nice. I'm going to move on to Casey and Jean for the work-life balance toolkit.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'll do a quick little report out from our session. for the SOAR analysis. I'll just go quickly through some of the bullet points here. For strengths, the document exists. We have it, and now we can do something with it. It promotes inclusivity. It's timely. It sets expectations. Brings attention to the importance of work-life balance. We've got leadership input and buy-in as part of our strengths. Opportunities, greater work-life balance, work less, live more, perhaps a 32-hour work week. Would that be nice? Potential disconnect between ASU executive leadership and other units. Make it a part of.
Help us understand how that's an opportunity.
The opportunity, let's see, just reading it on my own here. Potential disconnect between ASU executive leadership and other units. So that is, if we are implementing this here in UTO, how can we help ripple it across the rest of the university?
Yeah, the opportunity is definitely
Sorry, Casey.
Yeah, the opportunity is to bring those people together to improve that disconnect, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Make it a part of the culture that we include work-life check-ins as part of our supervisee conversations. So employees feel seen, heard, and respected. There's some cross themes in a lot of these, which is really cool. To encourage and provide possible resources for faculty and staff to pursue personal hobbies and aspirations. Aspirations, this is a good one. If your department needs to be 24/7, ensuring all teams work on this and are more cohesive about it, or because of it. Normalize the scheduling of uninterrupted focus time on your calendars. We care deeply about our community enough to give permission for time autonomy. This work-life balance full toolkit that could maybe emerge from this document. And the SOAR analysis. Expand scope of work-life balance toolkit to include home behaviors as well. Alternate work week, maybe 4/10s, 9/9s, different start and end times, etc. Embrace an asynchronous communication and collaboration. Flexibility of working time. Blackout days with no meetings, so we catch up on all the fun stuff. And then finally, the results. And in the results, we're thinking about what are some measurable results, what are some goals here. So data on how many people are answering emails in meetings. Is that some data we could pull? Is that something that can be measured? Are we really truly being present?
Right.
Data on how many times people are double booked, responding outside of work hours, et cetera. More employee retention and happier employee engagement could be a possible result of this. And then finally, a very quick win for us during this conversation was that we create a work-life balance toolkit Slack channel to continue the conversation after today and tomorrow. And, maybe we can insert our best practices ourselves or, great stories of successes, also other areas of opportunities and how we can work through them. So I think Casey just put that Slack link in the chat.
Thank you.
Please feel free to join us.
Most welcome.
Another community formed, and you're right, lots of themes across the different breakout sessions. So we'll have to take a look at that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Bobby, creating a smart fleet for ASU.
Yeah, we had a great discussion around, what is a smart city. Alex Conan gave a great description of the opportunity and the problem statement we're trying to solve. We had Jake from the Cox Collaboratory then talk about kind of a proposed solution and go forward plan. And there was just a great kind of groundswell around the opportunities and the strengths of being able to leverage both ASU's vast talent and knowledge with these partnerships to be able to enable this solution going forward. And a lot of around the aspirations and the inspirations really had to do with it's not just an ROI of being able to reduce costs of operation, but it's really about cutting the carbon emissions, being kinder to the earth. As we heard, we're creating our own earth doctor medical center. And so this is very well aligned with that. And
Nice.
also the opportunities just around efficiency in general.
That's fantastic. This is a thing.
This is a thing.
That's so good. And thank you, Bobby. Chris and Barnaby, would you like to talk? This is the final session we're going to report out on, and it's probably another 2-3 minutes and we'll wrap up. Responsible innovation and you.
I would be more than happy to. I just shared in the chat, I shared the link to the Google Doc. I'm not going to go over all of it really quickly. So on the SOAR analysis, we had a really great conversation talking about the strengths of the charter around responsible innovation. That was identified as one of the strengths. We have the tool that enables the conversations, and that the fact that the charter aligned pretty directly with the culture and philosophy that ASU has set forth in the larger charter, and that tool enables us to ask the right questions and facilitate that discussion. As far as opportunities, reflective time, right? We get to take a pause and ask why we're doing these things. It gives us the opportunity to look at what else we're doing across the ASU ecosystem and how those might be aligned. And it helps allow us to build and deepen the trust within the ASU community by having those conversations and bringing them to the table. Aspirations, we wanted to see this conversation continue, and we wanted to have greater student involvement. Warwick had mentioned that early on, that having, one of the things he saw for the future in another group was having the QA be done with students' involvement, things like that, and having them in the conversations. To see the university as a whole implement responsible innovation and to lead the market globally in this idea. As far as results and how we can see our progress, the stakeholder stay interviews. So the stay interviews funneled over into our discussion too. I think that's a great idea. Looking for greater adoption, maybe we can show the fact of less rework on products that we're rolling out because we've taken the time to ask those questions more upfront. As far as takeaways, we're doing some of the things already. There was definitely a discussion about opening up the Slack channel that we have for the Responsible Innovation Guild to the larger community. Great. So we'll be looking at that. We have been working on some templates for the JIRA product boards so that people can keep the discussion going. And we're doing some collaboratory work with the School of Future of Innovation Society to get the students and faculty involved in some more of this conversation. So it was a great session.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. Thank you. Barnaby, do you have anything to add?
Again, it's tied directly to the broader aspirations of Arizona State University. Yeah. Responsible innovation is built into its core, and it's not just technology. It speaks to all dimensions and all aspects across the university. And that's, I think, the bigger call to action here is don't tune this out as saying, well, I don't develop. We all are in process. We're all engaged with stakeholders. We all have tangibles that we're delivering. And this is a process to further improve that and provide value add, committed, engaged, transparent, accountable value add to the communities that we serve.
Thank you, Barnaby. Thanks, both of you. And I am going to share my screen real quickly just for the wrap up here. Let's hope I don't share my desktop again. Tomorrow is open space. And for those of you that have not been part of Empower before, this is a really wonderful way to take all the stuff that might be percolating for you now after hearing all of the report outs and also having been in those sessions this morning, and submit an idea for a session you want to host tomorrow. And the link is there for you if you'd like to do that before we get there, but there would be plenty of time in the session tomorrow for you to post your own topic that you would like to host, and you will take responsibility for just doing a little report back to us at the end of the open space. And then finally, we have all the headliners to thank for what they've given to us today. All these folks that did the preparation, did the thinking, and then showed up in such an authentic way. What an amazing community we are part of. Thank you so much, everybody, for this whole day, and we will see you tomorrow morning.